What's going on YouTube? I'm E and this is Simply Put Scents. On this channel, I try to entertain you guys while putting you on to some of the most amazing fragrances on the market today. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because I do this weekly and I love what I do. So yeah, let's get back to this video. So this is gonna be the second episode of Scented where I pretty much scent people. And in this episode, I'll be scenting the Starks. Yup, the Starks from Game of Thrones, guys. My first episode of Scented was on the Lannisters. This second episode has got to be on the Starks. So many of you guys wanted it, and so here we go. And you got it. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. It's one of the best shows on TV. I really feel like in another 20, 30 years, people will literally be teaching it in schools. Like there'll be courses based on Game of Thrones in college in the future. I have no doubt in my mind at all that's going to be the case. Absolutely amazing show. Absolutely amazing literature. Awesome stuff. I love the show. I love the characters. Everything about it is on point to me. So this is going to be fun to do. Let's just get into it. Ned Stark is the most honorable character on the Game of Thrones, hands down. His integrity ultimately cost him a lot though, but it's hard to imagine him doing anything shady, even if he knew it would help him in the end. Ned is a real family man, so a fragrance that women would like wouldn't really matter to him. And Catelyn, his wife, would pretty much like anything he wore because he wore it. He's brave, but not brave enough to wear something too artsy, gourmand, or playful, in my opinion. His scent would have to be a cold weather friendly fragrance. Ned Stark is also into the old guard, so like the smell of woods or mossy notes would probably appeal to him. He's a modest man, so his fragrance really wouldn't be like, I think, something too niche or flamboyant or anything considered fancy man scents or classy. I mean, think about it. Can you really imagine Ned Stark wearing Chanel?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
So every time I kept thinking of Ned Stark's character, I kept thinking of like old school fragrances, like Oscar de la Renta Pour Louis. Like that automatically came to mind. And I think that would suit Ned. But if I was scenting Ned Stark, I would want him to smell modern and his best. You know what I mean? So what's a serious scent that's modern, not too classy, very masculine, not flamboyant, and rugged enough for a man like Ned Stark? From the house of Barbados, dark rebel writer. The name could kind of describe Ned too. In the world of Game of Thrones, like the rebel is for sure the man who has integrity.
I will not dishonor Robert's last hours by shedding blood in his halls and dragging frightened children from their beds.
Come on, man. I mean, come on, man.
But beyond that, Dark Rebel Rider is a scent that would match the style and the taste of Ned Stark. Like it's dark, it's smoky, cold weather friendly. It's a leather scent that's distinctly masculine and it's not really that loud. It's also not a scent for elitists, and that, along with this overall vibe, I think it would really appeal to Ned Stark. I think Jon Barbados fragrances could match all of the men in the Stark house, but I think that would be like way too easy for this video, so let's just keep it moving. Catelyn Stark is extremely loving, loyal, and devoted to her family. Unfortunately though, this didn't include Jon Snow.
I came to say goodbye to Bran.
You said it.
Which she believed to be her husband's kid with another woman while he was away at war. She could never really like show Jon love.
When my husband brought that baby home from the war, I couldn't bear to look at him. So I prayed to the gods. Take him away. Make him die.
Damn.
And she always made him feel separate and less than his brothers and his sisters. Y'all would know that if you watch the show. Anyway. Catelyn might not want a scent that screams sexy over a scent that smells clean. And it wouldn't really matter to her if it were from a designer as long as it didn't smell too ordinary, you know? So what makes a great option for a sophisticated woman like Catelyn Stark? From the house of Narciso Rodriguez for her EDT. I could have said Chanel No. 5 or Guerlain Shalimar or Treasure from Lancome, but those scents compared to Catelyn are way over the top for her. To me, like Narciso Rodriguez for her is a minimalist scent with a strong musk note that smells bold but also very clean. Totally unlike a lot of female fragrances which are out, and I think that would be something Catelyn would be into. Jon Snow is a main character of Game of Thrones, and unlike many characters on the show, it's difficult to root against him. He's a lot like Ned Stark because he's a good dude who's not much of a talker but can do major damage in a fight. Unlike Ned though, he shows that not all nice guys finish last. He's likable, relatable, not too serious, not too playful, and a consistent underdog who defies all odds. How can you hate a character like that? Jon Snow is a young man who is far more mature than his age would suggest, plus he's a leader of men and a role model for many who follow him. So I don't think he'd want to smell playful or fun or sexy. If he lives in a cold place, he commands respect. So a scent that's cold weather friendly, again, respectable and unique might appeal a lot to Jon. So what would be a great fragrance option that isn't really that popular, flamboyant, worn by a lot of men? It's not really cheap, but nowhere near expensive. A scent that's not too loud, but not too playful, but is cold weather friendly with depth that would fit the image of Jon Snow. Like what could that scent possibly be? I think there's a few options, but one that I think would fit Jon perfectly, Gucci Intense Oud. First off, Jon wouldn't be caught dead in the original Jimmy Choo, right? Like, let's just be real. Intense Oud has that perfect combo of factors for Jon. It's not too serious, but it's not too playful. It's masculine, it's not stuffy or old-fashioned. It's perfect for the cold. It's insanely underrated, overlooked, and ignored by most men. So it would kind of allow him to smell unique without, feeling like out of character. Robb. Man. Robb is another brave Stark. He's a tough guy with a great strategic mind for war and is a natural leader, but he's also very naive and a victim of being too trusting, which is, I would say, his father's biggest issue. Also, like his father, he knows war and fighting, but arguably doesn't know or understand people. Robb's character is not as fully fleshed out on the show, even though he's a big part of the story. He and Rickon seem to be the Stark children you learn the least about personally, as far as like their personalities. What you do learn about him is that he isn't as mature as you might think. Robb is duty bound to fight on behalf of his father, but he puts his personal needs above his word, which is very human, but in this world, it's also a sign of immaturity and weakness.
I think you lost this war the day you married her.
Robb is drunk with love, so a scent that would fit him perfectly in more ways than one. Y'all gonna hate me for this, but whatever. Straight to Heaven by Killian. 2 on the nose, right? All right. I'm just playing with you. Tabac Rouge by Fedon. Robb is the only male Stark I could see not turning down a niche scent, especially one that was moderately priced. He's not above designers, but there's nothing about his character that would let me know that a niche scent would be something he would frown upon, Tabac Rouge is an awesome honey, cinnamon, benzoin fragrance that fits a leader who wants to smell like one. It smells like Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, as well as Velvet Teddy by MAC, but unlike those, Tabac Rouge is so damn smooth. You wear it, but it doesn't really wear you. unlike those other scents. It's sweet but comes across very masculine, and it'll cut through the cold with ease. The fact that it has the word rouge in it is also kind of fitting for Robb. You know, like rouge means red, and Bran might be the hardest Stark to scent because his character has kind of evolved to the point where his smell really wouldn't matter to him at this point.
You don't need me anymore.
No, I don't.
He lost the ability to walk due to a fall and would be far more interested in learning to master his newfound abilities over smelling good for other people or for any other reason for that matter. His personality has changed so much that practically no fragrance would fit who he has become. But there is one scent though that would fit the new Bran Stark. Versace's The Dreamer. The Dreamer is a classic men's fragrance that is heavy on tobacco, tonka, and lavender. Some find the opening hardest to deal with, but the dry down is pretty cool, I think. But would anyone think fun and playful when you think of Bran's character? The Dreamer is the perfect scent for the boy who sees everything when he's in a trance.
You saw me.
I see quite a lot now.
Bran has visions.
Sansa was the Stark character I liked the least at the start of the show. I don't know guys, like she just came across whiny, prissy, and very spoiled for that family.
Do you think Joffrey will like me? What if he thinks I'm ugly? He's so handsome. Please, please. It's the only thing I ever wanted.
You know, like she just seemed so different from everybody else in the Stark family. But like the Stark family, she was very ignorant to the ways of other people and often fell victim to various characters who were a lot more clever than she was. Sansa has evolved into more of an interesting character. She's less gullible, less trusting, and a lot more confident in herself than the person she used to be. She seems to be morphing into Cersei a little bit, to be honest with you. She's becoming a lot more cunning and unpredictable as Cersei is. Even though Sansa isn't quite the prissy, girly character she was at the start, I can imagine her wanting to smell pretty, you know. Sansa would easily wear an expensive scent, but there aren't many niche fragrances that smell pretty and that are targeted to young girls. But there is a high-end designer brand that made a scent that I really think would appeal to Sansa. From Dior, the fragrance is Girl Eau de Toilette by Dior. Girl is pretty. That's just the bottom line. Girl was like, I feel like Dior's attempt to remake a classic fragrance line into something more modern and appealing to a younger audience of women. And by modern, I do mean simple and easy to like. Girl EDT is a sweet, almost edible smelling fragrance that is very simple in terms of how it comes across, but also very easy to like. I really don't think she purposely want to come across mature if she could help it. The quality of Dior Girl EDT is evident compared to similar style fragrances from other brands, so there is just enough status in the scent to win her over. Arya is the most masculine female in the Stark house. Ever since she was like a littler girl, she like gravitated towards more masculine things, and unlike her sister and almost every other woman in her world, except for like Brienne, Arya wanted to be a knight, not a lady. In the first episode of Game of Thrones, she shows her skills with a bow while upstaging her brother Bran. That first episode foreshadowed where her character would go in the Game of Thrones story. Like her sister Sansa, she also experiences a lot of suffering to become who she ultimately is. And like her sister Sansa, the person she is far from the girl she was. Arya would never wear a pretty fragrance. She would never wear a fragrance most girls would like or even would consider wearing. Actually, she's an assassin, and assassins can't be wearing fragrances at all. Because, I mean, I would imagine, like, you know, you could, like, trace a scent back to them, right? So, like, what would be, like, a good scent for a female assassin who hates anything pretty and can't wear a scent that smells too loud or over the top because she doesn't want people to know who she is? It's kind of like a stab in the dark because I know she probably not wear any fragrance at all. Yeah, she wouldn't. She really wouldn't. But the scent that I would suggest to Arya would be a bottle of Molecule 01 or a bottle of Isoe Super from eBay. I would probably say Molecules 01, but let's be real. It's very unnecessary when you can buy like sprayable bottles of Isoe Super for so much less. The crazy thing about Isoe Super is it's a scent that some people won't even notice, even though it's a scent that can be very strong to others. It's a fragrance that I think confuses people who smell it, including the wearer, which I think she would pretty much appreciate. Isoe Super or Molecule 01, it has like this masculine, woody, mineral smell to it. It's not girly, it's not pretty, it's not flamboyant, popular. It comes and goes in and out on the wearer in a silent way, like an assassin would. If she wore ISO, I think few people would be able to call it out. But yeah, come to think about it, she wouldn't wear anything. So the last two Starks are barely known in the context of the show, so I won't really be going into it with them, but for Benjen Stark, the obvious choice would have to be Man in Black by Bulgari. And for Rickon, I would choose Abercrombie and Fitch's First Instinct. Because to me, his first instinct, instead of running like this, should have been to run more like this. So guys, ooh.
Very nice. Presentation is dope.
Here's the box, there's the bottle.
Very interesting. It has like
There was the box.